My paper aims to assessing stakeholders' conflict in urban logistic networks through the analytic hierarchy process. I use the 4 urban consolidation centers cases as the case study in order to identify and address the stakeholders' conflict during establishing the UCC project. UCC is a pivotal facility which has been set up by many local authorities to deal with the issues of the sustainability in the urban logistic domain. This picture shows the system of a UCC delivery network. It shows the function of UCC, requires the goods should be consolidated in the UCC before they move into the urban area. And the UCC merge these goods and conducts the urban delivery so that this measure can increase the truckload factor and decrease in the number of trucks traveled in the urban area, which help mitigate the urban congestion and air pollution. And we also list many benefits that a UCC project can be generated to the city. A UCC system includes different kinds of public and private stakeholders. It includes the shipper, intercity carrier, local carrier, and the local authorities and other NGOs. A successful project requires a close collaboration among these stakeholders. However, when these stakeholders participate in the UCC, there will be caused different conflict between UCC with a particular stakeholder. In this slide, I list the conflict or disagreement which reported in previous literatures. For example, UCC may increase the total cost of the entire supply chain, which harms the interest of the shippers. And all these issues will cause the failure of the UCC project. In order to deal with above issues, my paper has the following objectives. The first one is to enhancing the key stakeholders' engagement by exploring various parties' preference for UCC's performance. This includes highlighting the different stakeholders' priorities and assessing the extent of the divergence between the stakeholders' objectives in the UCC networks. And we use a real-world case from Sweden and China for highlighting the reasons for the uncorrelated or negatively correlated quantitative results, which get from the ISAHP. And this paper uses a mixed method approach, which combines the quantitative method and the qualitative method to get the research results. Firstly, we use the pairwise comparison metrics to get the quantitative data and use ISAHP to quantify stakeholders' preference. Then correlation analysis includes the Spearman's rule and the Kendall's tau used to show the degree of the stakeholders' disagreement. In another parallel approach, qualitative data is collected through the interview. Both the quantitative and the qualitative data are analyzed through the semantic analysis in order to find the reasons that cause the conflicts among the stakeholders. 4 UCC cases from the Sweden and China are selected. These cases covers all the UCC categories defined by Brownlee 2005. First case is the neighborhood UCC, which deal with the normal parcels and service a small area of the city. The second and third case are the site-specific UCC, service for a specific industry. The Swedish one deal with the construction materials, and the Chinese one deal with the medical product. The last case is the town-wide UCC used to deliver the cold chain product to the entire city. In here, 15 criteria and associated indicators are selected to represent the UCC's performance in the 3 dimensions of the sustainability. Since we use the ISAHP, so the 3 dimensions of the sustainability are set in the first hierarchy, and the indicators are set in the second hierarchy. We target key stakeholders in the UCC. We choose the UCC sponsor, UCC operator, and the independent stakeholders and ask them to make a comparative judgment for the indicators. These stakeholders have participated in the formation and operation of the UCC and have the ability to influence the business and operation of the UCC, and also have power to make decisions on the directions of UCC's development. This table shows the details, the list of each stakeholders we are interviewed. And then we asked each stakeholder to make a comparative judgment based on the SATI's 1 to 9 scale. And this is the final result of our AHP results, and about the overall weight of the indicators, which ranked by different stakeholders. We also transfer this weight into the ranking values of each indicator. And these two slides shows the correlation analysis results based on the Kendall-Tau and the Spearman's rule, and which shows the different degree of the correlation of stakeholders' preference. Due to the time limitation, I just here to show the brief result we get from the correlation analysis. In the first case, there are positive correlation among the preference of the UCC sponsor, UCC operator, and the local authorities, but there are negative correlation between the preference of researchers and the preference of the 3 remaining stakeholders. In the case 2, there are negative correlation between the preference of UCC sponsor and the preference of the UCC operator. And the third case, there are significant positive correlation between the 3 stakeholders. And in the case 4, there are significant correlation between the preference of UCC operator and the preference of the researcher. And conversely, there are no correlation between the preference of UCC sponsor and the preference of the other 2 stakeholders. So in the next step, we are going to understand what is the reasons causing these conflicts among the stakeholders. In order to address this issue, a semantic analysis is used to identify the reasons that cause the disagreement of the stakeholders. First, we set each indicator as the main theme, then predefine 2 sub-themes in terms of the performance of UCC on each indicators and the stakeholders' opinions on the importance of these indicators. Another comparative analysis is based on the ranking of each indicators. Then comparing the quantitative and qualitative results, we conclude the 5 reasons that would cause the conflicts in the UCC project. These 5 reasons are, the first one is different categories of stakeholders may have different objectives for the UCC network. And the second is private stakeholders do not want their commercial objectives to be harmed by the UCC. The third one is there is a lack of communication channel between the stakeholders. The fourth one is stakeholders may not recognize the outcome of the UCC in the environmental and the social aspects. The last one is conflicts are also can be caused by the operational issue. And aim to addressing above conflicts, we also make some suggestions for the decision makers to improve the stakeholders relationship. The first one is researchers should be engaged with the project from the preparatory stage until the operating stage. The second one is effective communication channel should be built. And the third one is in a public funded project, authorities should regularly inspect the UCC operation. The fourth one is early involvement of all the stakeholders as early as the UCC planning stage. And the last one is logistical profiles, or which UCC must deal with should be comprehensively investigated. And our paper makes the contribution to the literature and also contribution to the practice. In specific, this paper uses a mixed method approach to quantify the stakeholder preference, shows the degree of their heterogeneity, as well as disclose the reason of their conflicts. The research results will contribute to improve the quality of stakeholders' engagement during the UCC planning. And we also the quantitative method is convenient to be used in practice by UCC planners in order to understand the amount of stakeholders' collaboration in the UCC. And the qualitative result can help UCC planners to predict the potential conflicts that would be arising when performing stakeholders' engagement activities. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shucheng. Please keep your screen shared so we can easily contribute or make questions to your work. So now I would like to know if somebody have question or comment to this work. Please go ahead. we have time. We have time for a couple of questions.
Hi, good morning. It's Miguel Ortiz.
Hi, hello, Miguel.
Hi, how's it going? Okay,
Hi.
very good.
Very nice.
I have a question for the presenter. Why using HP instead of AMP? Because I see the presence of interactions here.
In here, our theoretical basis is we think the sustainability can be divided into the 3 independent dimensions in terms of economy, environment, and society. And we think there's no overlap. This is our basic hypothesis for that. There's no overlap indicators that can be represented in the two or more dimensions. But I know some studies, this is just one part of studies, and some studies, they think there is a overlap between each dimensions, and maybe one or more indicators can be represented in different dimensions. So we just use the AHP and not the AMP.